All right.
We gotta believe episode 121. Not really much to talk about today, but you know what? We're just
Yeah,
gonna hang
let's
out.
just do like we'll do the bracket. I don't know, some evergreen stuff, run an interview. We don't have anything to talk about.
What we have to do right now is we have to get ourselves a nice ice cold Coors Light, pop it open, and drink it down because I think everyone needs to chill. It was a fucking emotional, action packed, crazy weekend. It was.
Clem, what did we tell people all year about Francisco Lindor? We said, chill out, just wait, give it some time. Yes, it's disappointing now, but the moment will come and you will feel stupid. You should have been chilling out all year long. You should have been drinking your Coors Lights.
That's why everyone's like, oh, Francisco dyed his hair blue during the season. It's like, no. He was just chill. He was chilling out, and then all the fans were booing him, so he got no longer chilled. You got to chill out. You got to have your soul, your Mets fan soul has to be bluer than the Rockies on a nice cold Coors Light, cold lager, cold filter, and cold package. It's literally made to chill. That's what Francisco wants to do. He wants to chill, smile, and hit the ever-living shit out of baseballs. So everyone just hang out, and that's why Coors Light is the one I choose when I need to unwind. So you want to hit reset, reach for the beer that's made to chill, get Coors Light in the new look delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. That's CoorsLight.com/believe. We have a little thing called a playoff race going on right now. So we're going to need to load up on our Coors Lights. And when we get our wins, we're going to celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. All right, boys.
What a night. What a weekend. I'm trying to separate myself as a Mets fan and just as a baseball fan and New Yorker and just living, breathing human with emotion and shit. What a weekend. And I mean, this close to it being a full sweep and the greatest weekend of all time. But I'll take the 2 out of 3 with the unbelievable entertaining baseball, the pageantry, the New York vibes, the throwbacks, the reminiscing, the good, the bad, the sad, the inspiring. I mean, when people say that baseball is boring, 99% of the time, I do get it. But you get a weekend like this, you get a couple games like this where it's a slugfest with comebacks and fights and drama and bragging rights and all this shit. And it's to me, it's the greatest theater of all.
It was fucking electric from Friday night on, right? And the energy in the crowd was something I didn't think would be there the way it was. I mean, 9/11, the 9/11 day obviously was different, but from the jump on Sunday and then even Friday and fucking Dog Do Brains, Gary Sanchez, which I mean, Gary Sanchez is how he's not a New York Met doing this kind of shit.
I know.
Crazy.
It's like the Yankees have a bad bullpen and bonehead plays like that in the field. It's bro, we are doing some Freaky Friday type shit. That I said, is this the worst play of all time? And people reminded me of the Baez on the Cubs getting in the rundown at first base and the guy letting the run score. That's probably the stupidest play I've ever seen. But as far as just physical, completing a physical task on a baseball diamond, I think that's the worst one I've ever seen in my life.
Well, how many replays have we seen where it's close, but they called him out on the field, and so they were okay, yeah, he's probably safe, but we're going to continue with the call. This was so fucking bad that they were no, dude, you're going to have to wear this one because you missed him by a fucking mile. Well, VR was giving himself up. And then the last minute, he just dives and slaps his leg down.
He was going straight back, right on his fucking head, man.
Oh. Jonathan VR, I said this. He's a menace on the base paths, but which team he's a menace to is a coin flip every single time. It's us, it's the opponent. I don't know what the fuck. In that play, every Mets fan is yelling at him. And then by the end of the play, every Yankees fan is yelling at Gary. It's what the fuck is going on right now? It's absolute. And Gary is kind of the same way as a catcher, where he has that fucking cannon of an arm, but he can't catch the ball and he can't apply tags. He's a lazy asshole. It's unfucking.
I mean, what do they teach you in fucking Little League Tommy Mansky shit is they have to come to the bag. Put your fucking glove on the bag if you need to, right on home plate. He has to come to you. That's some Tommy Mansky shit. I get it's a little different at home plate. The rules with, you can't have any collisions anymore, but that's more to protect you than anything. Just steps out of the way and misses the tag. It was as a matter of fact, I was watching at that point. I had on Gamecast. I don't know where I was. I think at that point I was putting my kids to bed and I saw it said outs, like it said in play outs. But then like a run went up and I was just, it glitched because it was such a weird moment and replay, and whoever was running Gamecast like didn't fucking know. And I was like, there's a glitch in the matrix. What's going on? I had my mom texting me like, can you believe it? I'm like, what's happening here? I saw the replay. I was laughing my fucking head off. It was a weird series because of moments like that, because of the bad bullpen, because of some clutch hitting, both teams were going through it. Like the top half of the inning and the bottom half of the inning, both fan bases were saying the exact same thing. For both of us were terrified. Both of us had no faith in the bullpen. Everybody, I mean, the amount of tweets I got that was like, dude, don't worry. Like, Yankee fans understand we're totally going to blow this game. And then Mets fans saying the same exact thing. Like, no, man, you don't understand. We're going to blow it. No, we're going to blow it. I mean, that was some back and forth shit that is not good for my heart. It was awesome. It was entertaining. That's a young man's game. I don't like those games anymore. I can't take that shit anymore.
Yeah, and people in the crowd were giving it to each other the whole time. The Yankees fans would kind of like, but that's the other thing. Like on social media, we're all like scared, but then once your team started going, you could just see everyone going at each other. So that was, I mean, Kyle was at the game on Saturday, which was a whole other thing. I honestly forgot about Friday. I was like, who won Friday? I was like, we won, but was it like a 1-run game? I was like, oh shit, we beat the crap out of them on Friday. It feels like 100 years ago that game.
That's the game I love. Honestly, I feel like we can count on like one hand the amount of games this season that were like that, where it was just like, all right, done. Even when we have 9-run lead against the Nationals the other day, it's always in question. So like a good just like ass whooping. That sets me like the Subway Series can ruin me for a month, and getting the first win is so clutch because even if you go on to lose 2 out of 3. It's not great, but like no matter what happens, even if you get your dick kicked in and you blow a save, like, I don't know, no big deal. Someone wins 2 out of 3, all the time. So getting that first one was so nice. And then the 9/11 game cracked me up because, and I said this in the moment, this wasn't hindsight, but when they did the handshakes at the very beginning, I was like, this is not two teams that I feel like really get along. Not that there's like beef, but I watched them all like dap it up, and I was kind of like, this all feels very phony, and like they're just doing it because they're professionals. And I'm sure there's some friendships over there, but not really. And everyone just knows each other now, and it's 9/11, so be nice. And then what do we see? A night later, they're ready to fucking kill each other. I was like, that is more what's going on here in New York. And I don't know if it's because of Cohen. I don't know if it's because of, you get some bona fide superstars who also get cocky like Lindor and Baez. I don't know if it's because they're both in the race. Whatever the 20th anniversary, whatever the cocktail was this weekend made for like some, like the Subway Series is back. I have not seen it like that in a long time. This was like, I think, give it a couple more years like this and you're going to have like punches being thrown during these games. Big home runs, cocky shit talking. We've got accusations of cheating, which by the way, what do you, all right. So the whistle thing was weird because it kind of, unless this was just me, it kind of materialized like out of nowhere. I didn't really know what was going on until it happened, until Lindor was doing the whistle taunt. But the accusation is that Ty Walker was tipping his pitches on Saturday night in the early game, which probably makes sense because it was fucking batting practice, right? I mean, he was just
the first inning alone, it was just like 25 pitches. I was like, holy shit, is he going to even make it to the third? Like, it was that bad. And it looked that bad.
So VR comes in, says, bro, you're tipping your pitches. Listen to them whistling. And I guess that's why he was able to then settle down like in, crazy. Went from, I thought like we were going to have to pull him in like the second inning to retiring like 13, 14, 15 straight, 8 strikeouts. So like something was definitely going on there. I hate to say it though. Like, I feel like if you're tipping pitches and someone's like letting their teammate know, as long as it's, I don't know, it's like, to me, that should be okay. If you're not using videotape, if you're not relaying it back from the clubhouse, if someone is watching, can get an advantage and let their teammate know, yo, I don't know. That feels like, that's, to me, that's like, if our team was doing that, I'd be like, fucking rock on, dude.
our team probably does it. They probably just don't whistle. They probably, like stomp on the ground or something. That's just how it goes. It's been like that. But the thing is, like, and it is completely different than banging on a trash can and when you're using video relay and stuff like that. But you also can't be the fan base that's been crying about it for like 4 fucking years.
Right.
So it's like there's two sides of it. Yeah. So
yeah. But I do, like, in fairness, it is, the difference is if in real time you can see something on the field and tell your teammate, like if a coach is yelling out, giving instruction because he's watching and seeing something, that's fucking just part of the game. But yes, it is very ironic to be the, like, sign stealing crybabies and then be a part of it. But to me, I can't be hypocritical about it. That to me is something I wish our team was doing. I hope we're doing. And,
I mean, shout out to VR for realizing it and telling him too, like, hey, you got to fix something because they know what you're throwing every pitch. Like, that's baseball. That's the game within the game. If you could, that's the same thing with, like, if you're stealing bases, like the really good base runners get the tendencies of the pitcher and then they take off. Like, that's the whole point of the. If you're good, you're good, and if you can pick it up, then good for you.
It's like counting cards, where it's kind of like frowned upon for some reason, only because it's like, fuck, this sucks. Like, you're beating us, and it's kind of like cheeky, But to me, I think that should all be legal, and people shouldn't get bent out of shape. But this is baseball, and I think that they just wanted to talk some shit, and when you're in the middle of it and you're like going hard, I love it. I mean, finally getting some swagger and some cockiness, and
that was 86.
Yep, that was 86. And again, if you're not taking advantage of those shortcomings that someone's doing, the reason you're watching tape, right, is, like you said, getting tendencies. If a guy doesn't put his mouthpiece in, it's going to be a run in football, and if he does, it's like that's just how it fucking works. And you're always looking for revenge, or it's like you're basically fucking your own team by not taking advantage of the other team fucking up, right? It's like when you're a pitcher, you have to know to make everything look the same so they can't tell, and then you get the release points, all that shit. So it was awesome. Everyone's being like, oh, the Mets shouldn't be acting cocky because they're in third place because the fourth place Yankees are the gold standard of baseball. Get the fuck out of here. Like, that was fun. When we talk about, like, remember Bryce Harper make baseball great again? Which, I mean, now it's like, you don't want to say that right now, Bryce. You're going to just piss off. But, like, the bat flips, the pitchers talking shit, all that kind of stuff. I loved when Lindor did the whistle and was kind of sticking up for his guys, and I had absolutely no problem with Stanton giving it back. My only problem with that entire play was them keeping Brad Hand on the mound and having him pitch to Stan instead of walking him and going to Joey Gallo, which would have been Stan's career numbers are like 3 for 4 with 3 home runs against Brad Hand. So whoever
Brad Hand is getting so many opportunities. And I don't like it. I don't like that we got this fucking throwaway scrap off the fucking dumpster that we're just like, yeah, we'll put him in every fucking game in high leverage situations. Also, the big debate as far as that goes was the Saturday night fiasco with Trevor May. Seems to be 2 different camps. One being Trevor May has been rolling, like last 10 appearances has been great. 8th inning guy, like, why would you not go to him? The other side, I think, and this is the camp I'm in, is more of like an old-fashioned baseball, like eye test, gut test thing. I'm just like, bro, I said it from the jump. My mom and me were texting in real time. I texted the group chat being like, I do not like this inning. Because sometimes you just know, and if you've been watching Trevor May all year, you know that he sometimes is lights out and other times he is very hittable. And I just thought, like, this fastball against this chunk of the lineup is not gonna work. And so it's not like a hindsight thing, and it's not like I can back it up with numbers. The only thing I would say is that I know his last 10 appearances or whatever have been great. But if you look at like a lot of the teams we were playing prior to this, it was pretty fucking cupcake. So I don't know if that comes into play. But I mean, that surprised me 0%, and I knew it from Jump Street. And when you had Lugo throw only 7 pitches the inning before, and you've got Loop, to me, that was unforgivable. I feel like Lugo should have had a chance to stay out there. And I know Loop is, lefty specialist type guy, but we're getting to the point of the year where, like, I don't know, I think you throw that kind of shit out. It's all hands on deck. It's like, in the playoffs, you have starters come in for relief and you have guys play out of positions and you do whatever you got to do inning by inning to survive. So, like, I don't know. Loop's been your best reliever pretty much all year. In that spot against that chunk of the lineup, go with him. Give Lugo a shot. And then when you end up going to Loop anyway, after May serves up a couple fucking meatballs, it's like, well, you know, I think there's a good chunk of fans who could have told you this was coming. I don't totally blame Rojas because, like I said, this one's more of just like a fan gut feeling, and managers can't necessarily manage that way. But he has just not been pushing the right buttons lately when it comes to some of these big spots.
I think especially picking May coming from the Twins, seeing as they can't beat the Yankees at any point in the playoffs, and it's a playoff scenario, and then he does that, and you're just like, fuck. Came over just right along with him.
I was thinking the same thing. He had basically had a Minnesota Twins hat on the mound, and again, with like Trevor, he came on the show. He's a good dude, and he's been very good. But it was like one of those, you want to say it's a rational fan thing. It's like I was thinking the same exact thing. Minnesota Twins cannot get the Yankees out in the big fucking spot, and
doesn't matter.
Like, yeah, exactly. And our guy Meek Phil, he had it too, where he was like, Lugo this year, I think it's like 3 of the 4 games where he's pitched 2 innings. He's given up runs in the second inning, and like a good chunk of them in like 3 of the 4.
7 pitches, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Hey, listen, my guy. For till the day I die, Puerto Rican's my dude. And then Loop, it's like if Brad Hand can face Giancarlo Stanton on Sunday, then fucking Aaron Loop can face Giancarlo Stanton. It's crazy that Brad Hand was like the one that got away that we were like devastated about in April or March or whatever it was, and he's just fucking a flaming pile of dog shit on the mound right now, and you're just like,
and you know,
praying through it.
With Loop, like against a couple guys who do strike out a ton as well, I could just see those like swooping balls coming across the plate. Like it's just more of a that's the type of guy who gives hitters fits, whether you're lefty or righty. Versus like, was Trevor May's fastball just gonna beat them? Like it was mano y mano. I'm gonna throw my heat. You're gonna swing the stick, and who's gonna win? In that situation, I think we know what's going to happen more often than not. And the first ball was tattooed, and then Stanton put it into, or was it Judge or Stanton? I don't know which one. Into fucking orbit. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting there in the stands, and I'm like, all right, we already blew it, so now it's a tie game. And I'm like, they bring in Loop, and I go, okay, here we go. Taylor made double play. And some smart-ass Yankee fans like, actually, Voit doesn't hit into double plays. He only puts the ball in the air. He hits that ground ball, and I turn around, I'm like, Taylor made, and then fucking Baez air mails it, and I was like, God damn it.
that hurt after bobbling the ball like another hard hit ball, but Lindor botches that one. Then they botched the double play. I had just finished saying how Javi Baez is like the best player on the team, the most athletic, the most dynamic, which I still believe, by the way. It was just bad timing that right away after that is a game-losing error. But that play was interesting too, man. It was like Voit running. You had all the time in the world to like step away from the runner, compose this guy sliding, try to break it up, compose yourself and throw. Lindor kind of like slowly got it, like pitched it over. Like again, he was probably thinking we got Voit running, so let me take my time here. But I'd rather get it to him quickly, let Baez take his time, deal with the takeout slide. Like it was weird because it was tailor made, but I don't know. At the same time, it was a good slide. Part of me was like, I was trying to defend him, but yeah, I guess there's no defending it. That ball's got to be turned every time,
and not thrown past Pete and just completely, opening up the inning, right? And then having the run score. So no, I'm with you. And Lindor had that play and that one, like you're so used to Lindor where anytime, even like that one that took the bad hop, it was an absolute bullet. When he doesn't get it, you're like, oh man, like Frankie, what's wrong? Why are you getting every single one where Ahmed Rosario would have died? That ball would have impaled him. Like we've been so spoiled by Lindor's defense in not even a full season. So like Javi's gonna have like, he's going to drive you nuts at the plate. He's going to drive you nuts in the field. He's going to drive you nuts playing defense. But then he's going to do shit you've never seen before in a good way. So it's kind of
and like those runs that he's been manufacturing, whether it's like he went first to third and then there was a wild pitch, or whatever it may be, where it's like he's the one scoring from first on a single. All these things where it's like that's a hobby run that's manufactured by him, pretty much by himself. And I mean, Javi giveth, Javi taketh. You're going to get the error. You're going to get the bad strikeout. But right now, anybody who's like Are there still like anti-Baez guys because of the thumbs down? Because at this point, I think he's like invaluable to the team.
I mean, I can only judge it based off the darkest soul on Mets Twitter, and Frank is like, we have to re-sign Javi. And if Frank's saying that, I think that means everyone's being converted. Yeah.
And then he said Lindor's finally a Met after the third home run.
He's giving Lindor his fucking
like,
stripes.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, fucking Kevin and Clem were right. Like, saying this shit all year long, this was going to happen, that you're going to turn at some point, whether it's next season or at some point this season. And also, I mean, that's the way that's the nature of the game and the nature of the beast. And like, not saying that it's we should be different. Like, it's always going to be that way. But it feels good to be the guy being like, I knew this whole time that it's going to come. And obviously, he's still got a long way to go. It's not just one game erases everything. But when you see that and you see the way he reacts and handles it and rallies the team, and it was clutch every time. And I mean, a big weekend for him. Big game. That's as big of a game you can have for yourself, your status, your career. Like, that's as big of a game as you can have in the regular season. I mean, hopefully there'll be more postseason moments that really define you. But as far as like earning back the fans, getting some confidence, winning a big game, inspiring your teammates, a 3-home run game against the Yankees in the Subway Series during 9/11 weekend, 20th anniversary with the playoff push going. I mean, that's as big as it's going to get. And like, that's why I thought we were going to have an Alonso moment on 9/11. I thought we were going to have it. It was a very, anybody else get Piazza Game 5 vibe? Where it was like, no, not even close, you know? It was a bomb. It was like he just missed it. And like, I did like to see that they kind of fought all weekend, even after blowing saves. They didn't just like roll over and die. But
5-0 deficit right off the jump, and then going down to Cookie Carrasco. Communion Way for Carrasco needs an opener. He cannot pitch the first inning anymore. He had one inning, and then he could go 2 through 6 or whatever. But I can't have him pitching when there's a 1 in the fucking frame. I just can't. We can't do it anymore.
Kyle, you said that Baez's numbers are similar to Yo's.
Yeah, they're like, I want to say he's 5 off of his average, 2 off of his home run count, and they have the same amount of stolen bases, and their OPS is basically exactly the same.
Listen,
it's actually crazy.
Remembering what Yo was like, wait, what's the home run difference?
Yo had 10 home runs, Baez has 8.
Wow. I guess I would have thought more that.
And he's hurt. He was hurt too.
And he was hurt, yeah. I would have guessed that by now, Yo had like 20 home runs. Like, he was fucking great.
55 in the second half.
Yeah.
After the deadline.
But
Yo's home runs were like huge home runs.
Yeah, they were monsters physically and like situationally, they were bombs. But so anybody who's still, on the fence about Baez or mad about the thumbs down, I don't think there's anybody left in the world thinking about that. But everybody was riding Yo Cespedes' dick, and rightfully so. In 2015, he was like the reason we made it to the postseason. When at the deadline, we said, like I said, he was an infielder version of Yo. That if you get the good version of him, he can inspire this team and like be the spark plug to make a run. I mean, that's happening. And unfortunately, the Braves are either keeping pace or losing when we lose, winning when we win. But as far as like they're playing good baseball with minus a couple blown saves here, they're doing their part right now to keep this close and make a run. And Baez was like is the reason really right now. And that spark plug is like he's what we said, what we hoped he would be. I do got to give credit to Meek. We brought him up earlier. He was, very adamant that the Braves acquisitions in Duvall and Soler were like, difference makers. And I remember thinking, I don't think that anybody could really turn around this whole offense right now. The Mets have been like so bad. You got to hope that the players you have turn it around rather than just putting Band-Aids on from the outside. And Duvall and Soler win the game every single night for the Braves. It's fucking insane. So, I got to concede that one. That had the Mets been a little more aggressive at the deadline, who knows? But what is it?
Point, like, you're not playing Conforto, who's like been our best fucking. Like, it is kind of weird. How like now Conforto's warmed up. Now you could put someone in left, right? Because Dom has kind of played himself into a bench player, and he was hurt, the bereavement list, all that kind of shit. And now McNeil's kind of just getting floated around. But Conforto, it's like
Conforto is like in the field too. Like he's just playing like
he's another one. They had his numbers, like if you take the first 79 games, which obviously you can't, and just take that out of the season, his numbers are like baseline exactly the same as he's been his whole career, like 287, driving in runs. It's just so frustrating to see. And now it's like that thing. This is kind of like, not saying it's the old Mets, but it's that thing where like you get tricked in the last month and a half, 2 months, and you're like, well, this guy, he's going to be him again. Like, we might as well just give him a big contract. And it's like, really? You don't know.
I think that Cohen, like, hopefully will be more of a shrewd businessman where it's like even if they make some sort of magical run here, let's say they make the playoffs, get bounced in the first round somehow, like Luis Rojas has to go. And not even because of like this one time he did this and that one time he put this guy in. It's like he was an interim guy. He is an interim guy. And like, you know, maybe put him back as a bench coach or keep him involved somewhere, somehow. I'm sure whoever comes in will want his own guys, but like, you know, I do have faith that Cohen will still be like, yeah, that's nice, but we've got a long-term plan and a long-term like goal here that we're not going to just get duped into like, oh, you had a good run for 3 weeks. Now, you know, now we're going to put everything on you. Like, still got to go get some stars, still got to make some changes, but it is nice to see that they didn't just like roll over and die, because that's what it felt like was going to happen after August. I mean, it's just August. It's just August. If you just like it's usually June. This year it was August. August just completely fucked us. I mean, actually, no, to be fair, it really was like June and July when we just should have been extending the lead to like from 4 games to 8 to 10 to 12. But man, August is going to haunt me for a long fucking time if we end up missing by like a game.
And that's I think the difference between the way Yo will be remembered and the way Javi's going to be remembered is that the team won because they got like 3, like we just had to like get like 2 more runs a game for like 5 games, and we win so many more games. That's all we fucking needed to do. And granted, like Javi's part of the offense, but there's 8 other guys. I won't even throw Pete in the mix because he was carrying us forever. So the other 7 guys, even the pitchers, could fucking just get like a couple more hits. We would have won a couple more games, and we'd be right there with the Braves because we like whenever we lose, the Braves lose. Whenever we win, the Braves win. And I'm telling you, this team is not going to let us off easy this year. They're going to milk us the entire way to do the season into October, and then they'll probably gut us because that's just what they do. But I mean, Javi at this point, they were talking about it on the broadcast, and they said, like, where do you think he's going to end up? And I think Buster Olney was like, I think Chicago. He's going to go back to the Cubbies. And I'm like, Mets fans, like, are you ready to lose this guy now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say, everybody was ready to kick him out. You know, oh, you don't like us. We don't like you. Now, what's that narrative like a couple weeks later? And we'll see what happens a couple more weeks if he keeps this up. I know when we got him, people were like, oh, Javi and Lindor, they're friends. It's good for chemistry. Then we played bad and everyone mocked this idea of chemistry and how it's silly and doesn't matter. Then you start playing well and you start seeing confidence and swagger. And to me, I'm like, this is where I think that chemistry can matter and does take effect. And like, as much as I hate that motherfucker Correa, if it were to be, if you got all 3 of those guys, I'll gladly hate those guys while they fucking mash our way to a World Series. Like, I don't give a shit about liking it or whatever. This is professional baseball. Like, let's just be the best, and who gives a shit otherwise? Because I think, like, dude, take the benches clearing situation last night. I know everyone's like, oh, look at Baez, like, calling out Stanton. Are you kidding me? Like, Lindor and Baez, 2 crafty best friend Puerto Ricans in like a tag team fight against those 2 fucking goons. I'm not even kidding you. I would take those guys. If you ever see like a street fight outside a bar and there's 2 big oafs and then there's 2 like Puerto Rican guys being like, come get some. I know who I'm taking. Javi Baez is about to pull a razor blade out from under his fucking tongue. Are you kidding me? Our guys are the ones that you got to be scared of in that situation, not fucking Mr. Glass over there.
Well, that's the thing. So as the game's going on last night, and I was kind of watching that and the football game, obviously, because it was the first week of football. And as the fight's going on, I'm like, wait, Kyle and Kev are not tweeting right now, and I'm like, fuck. I'm here on my own island, and I have the short porch guys, all the Yankees gabagool Twitter going like, Stanton will kick your ass, Baez, and I'm like, Javi fucking Baez, that guy's crazy, man. You're gonna
Yeah, man. Like
the Major League Baseball symbol tattooed to his neck. I'm not in the back of his neck, not even the front of his neck. I was like, that dude doesn't give a fuck. You're telling, and listen, Mike Stan, he has the height, the weight, the fucking muscles, BMI or whatever on Javi. However, the guy like gets hurt walking up the dugout. The guy, Aaron Judge went down with an eye injury, I think, during the game, didn't he? Like, those are the guys I'm worried about. Mike Stanton's gonna
dizziness or something. He had like dizzy vertigo feelings. Like, I'll knock those fucking fake teeth right out of your head. Javi Baez would those guys would be laughing all the way while the big oafs are sitting on their ass there. I mean, that's
like Clem when all this.
What is
when
this?
it was all going down
here?
Oh, wait,
the little brush off thing they were doing. Like, and the fact that they were doing it, and that's what I love. I love that Lindor and Javi, they were the ones going like, all right, get the fuck out of here. And then Stan got moved to the dugout, and then he just went in the dugout. He probably went into the locker room, turned the lights off, hid in his little locker. It was like, is it over yet? Is it over? And fucking Garrett Cole, for Pete's sake, Garrett Cole's gonna talk shit.
With his Kermit ass voice.
And fucking Brett Gardner. You've given the thumbs down. You're 1,000 years old. Get the fuck off the field, old man. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna break a hip.
Garrett Cole on the Astros in a benches clearing brawl. I would have been like, yo, watch out, man. That's Garrett fucking Cole, dude. You don't mess with him. Shaves his beard, starts to talk a little bit. Oh my God. I was like, dude, fucking Dave Joust will beat your ass, dude. Garrett Cole, last guy you want having your back in a benches clearing brawl.
Now, let me say this. The reason I'm happy it did not escalate, and I will fully come clean on this. Like, because, I mean, like, everyone's forgetting, like, we have Pete out there, right? So it's like, you never know what Pete's capable of. Our fucking entire bullpen is like 6'8" and above and like 270. Rugi Odor. Want no piece of him. Want no part of him.
Haymakers, yup.
Jose Bautista, your ass. Yep. By the way, Bautista took the punch. You have to kind of give him credit that he didn't like go down, but that guy just seems like an absolute wild child. So I don't want any part of Odor, but like, don't give me fucking. The guy went from Mike to Giancarlo. That's not a guy you're like, oh, I'm worried about Giancarlo.
Mike Stanton ain't shit. Mike Stanton ain't shit unless he's batting. And then he's very much something to be concerned with. I mean, he just uncorks on balls. It's just like, bow, fucking gone. I mean, those are no doubt.
He's the definition of just swing as hard as you can just in case you make contact. And when he does, you're like, holy fuck.
Now, the biggest.
Good.
Sorry. No, I was just saying, but I think like we talked about it in the beginning, but like I think the overarching, like the one thing we will remember is it's the Francisco Lindor game, right? That was the Francisco Lindor game. He had his moment, 3 home runs, talking shit, backing it up, game-winning home run. I mean, that was as magical as it get. I don't know, Kev, if you saw it. I was talking to Kyle before we went live, but the first home run, the sound City Field made as he hit that home run, it was roaring. That's the crowd we've been talking about, that when Cohen comes in and actually gets this thing built, the fans are it's going to be a legitimate home field advantage. And hopefully, like, again, if you're a Lindor after this weekend, just like drop all your shit in Queens, walk across the Triborough. You could be a Yankee fan now. That guy rides with us. Him and his fucking boy ride with us. They're calling out Giancarlo Stanton. And, like, that's our guy. Fucking treat him as so. And let's just fucking, like, let's go win a fucking World Series in the next 5 years.
Big week for the fans, by the way. We got 2 Barstool at the ballparks. We got Wednesday versus the Cardinals, and then Saturday versus the Phillies. So the Cardinals was one of the early COVID backup games where we said if you don't want to go during the height of COVID, you can also go in September. So we kept those tickets reserved for all of the fans who wanted to swap them. Now it's open to the public. $70, all you can drink. Baseball, Mets versus Cardinals, pennant race baseball, wild card chase baseball. And then Saturday is with the Phillies, a chance to beat up on them. Hopefully, you do damage to them this weekend and leapfrog them. And I mean, anything is possible with that final series against the Braves looming. I just want to be mathematically in it for that series, just to see what the fuck happens. Don't forget, what was it, 99, where we were 2 games out with 3 to play, and we got in? Like, there's things like that can happen. So, I start to count in my head. I'm like, we're 5 out with like 20 to play. I'm thinking, oh, that's like almost close to 7 and 17. And then I'm thinking, but, if 2 and 3 can happen, then anything can. So go out this week and support the team. $70, all you can drink beer. Go to Mets.com/Barstool to check it out. Should we open up the call line?
Yep, I just tweeted out the link if you want to hit a little retweet, and then we're going to hop out of this room and just click on the other link I sent you.
Cool.